Hello, everybody. This is Dave Robson, the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robson. Coming tonight, this evening, to redo things to consider. Part two. I did one on yesterday. Turns out that somehow a certain portion of it was muted out. I didn't turn the mute back off. So what I wanted to do is do a little part of some little very important things that I was discussing in that moment. I wanted to share with you guys again. So what I'm trying to do tonight is a repeat of what I did on last night. And so, hopefully you guys can join in with me, and hopefully you guys can bear in with me to redo, like I said, parts of what I have missed yesterday. But so I'm gonna go over the whole thing again for those who didn't see the other live. I'm going over everything again, but I want to make sure I'm including those little key points when there's some things that was actually done, or what I seen on the scene of that crime scene that was pointed out to me from the rancher. Then it's the parts that was muted out, and I wanted to make sure certain things was there for you guys, as well as the points that I had about the airbags. Very crucial, very important to what I'm discussing, and how some of those things been neglected. Things that should have been considered, you guys, when it comes to crime scene, that law enforcement should look at when they're making a determination that they did, the Buckeye Police Department, that is, making a determination that didn't see a crime in this event. They didn't see any reasoning for doing any type of forensics work. So again, that's the reason why I'm going ahead to do this over again, you guys. And so you guys, thank you so much for joining it with me. I'll see you on the other side. Okay, everybody, Dave Robson again. Thank you so much again, like I said, for joining in. I just want to go ahead and jump right into it, pretty much. So what I want to do is share a screen with you guys. Just like I said, this whole series that I'm doing is talking about some of the things and the reasonings as well, but things that I've seen when I first came out to Arizona. I'll be talking about that, you guys. I'll be talking about things I found in my investigations, to the interviews I have done, like with the last person that's seen Daniel, my son. So, but I'm starting at the crime scene. I'm starting at the crime scene for a reason. I want to go and kind of point some things out that I saw, and the reason why I ended up hiring a private investigator, the things that my private investigator found, and then I'm going to go through eventually the report and things like that. So it's going to be a series and a series and a series of different points that I will be making, things that I've seen from my point of view, things I've seen on the ground, and how things happen in real time. I know you guys read a lot on the report. You guys sometimes get misinformation, all that kind of stuff. So I want to be able to clear a lot of the stuff up. So the only way to do that, and the way I understand to do that, is to have these series of things that you guys could consider, that I had considered when it comes to doing my own independent investigation into my son's disappearance. And the reasoning why I'm fighting so hard, you guys, first of all, I'm fighting hard to find my son, but I'm fighting so hard with law enforcement to force and get them to do certain things, and why I need you guys to back me when I have those things that I'm really working on. So again, all this is a combination of each other, and that's the reason why certain things happening in events that is happening is because I'm trying to make sure things are happening the way it should. Get law enforcement to be more active. This is not a cold case, so I need the backing of you guys as well. Also it goes towards my view of why I should start doing some advocacy work for everyone else too, because of what happened to my son. Again, like I often like to say, happens to many Americans. And like I said, let's go ahead and deep dive into it right now. I'm going to share screens with you guys, and I'm starting off with the vehicle on the scene. So I will go from that point on. Daniel vehicle. Those who don't know the backstory, who may be new the first time watching this is my son's vehicle that showed up on July the 19th of 2021. Showed up in this ravine almost 30 days after he went missing. My son went missing out on at a well site. They're doing he was supposed to be doing assessing groundwater. He only been at this well site for roughly near 15 minutes, according to the only person that have seen him. Allegedly, he was there for that length of time where this guy said my son waved to him. They the only two there. He waved it to him and drove off to never be seen again. Like I said, almost 30 days this vehicle showed up in this ravine. These pictures, you guys, I want to tell you up front, is very deceiving. It looks really flat. Even the first picture that the law enforcement gave me looked flat. This is a 20-foot ravine. That's a straight downhill. Like I said, guys gonna hear me talk about that too. It's called depth perception. Sometimes you can look at videos and pictures, and you cannot see the true depth of, like I said, there's certain things you cannot see just by looking at a picture, right? You have to be looking at things at real time to get the real fullness of what's really happening in the picture, for instance. And so this is a 20-foot ravine. It's very deep, and I'm telling you guys, if you trying to walk down there, you would slide straight down almost. So it is a little deep ravine. 20 foot down into this ravine. Does it look flat? Like I said, according to pictures, you guys can see right here. This is allegedly my son's clothing. Based on what the Buckeye Police Department's assessment was. This is his clothing, a safety vest there. There's some boots there. So I could show you a little bit more. I'll be flipping back and forth on these pictures. But a boot here, and one boot is stuck under the vehicle along with a sunroof panel. But again, the story was from the law enforcement that Daniel vehicle came into this ravine 30 some miles per hour, hit the ravine, flipped and rolled and twisted. How Detective Biffin of the Buckeye Police Department described to me, flipping the road and twisted and landed on the side. Landed on the side here. His assessment was the good part was, as he told me, that Daniel did not. He felt that Daniel did not sustain any injuries because they didn't see with their eyes any blood in the vehicle. But at the same time, he said, he know that he's wearing a seatbelt because of the way his seatbelt locked and things like that, and also described that he also believed that he had a severe head injury and that he kicked his way out of the sunroof. And you guys can look right here really closely. You can see a little glass on the ground. I can show you a better angle of this, but some glass on the ground. He said it's the roof. He kicked his way out of the sunroof. That's the reason why the glass is way over here. And that he came out the vehicle because of the head injury. It made him hot. And he shredded his clothes off. He stopped even in the middle of this conversation, sentence, and said, "Do your son wear boxers or briefs? Like I'm gonna know what a grown man wear under his clothes." I told him I don't know how I would know what my son would wear on his clothes. Well, he's everything from his underwear down to his socks was down on his ground. But we understand there's only one sock, and the other pair, hindsight, you guys was found a month later out near the well site. But the thing is, he's saying that he shredded his clothes because it's hot, and that he most likely wandered off somewhere, he hide up under a bush somewhere, a tree, to cool off, and a wild animal got him. He later assessed that he feels that maybe Daniel did all of it. He staged all of this himself and joined a monastery. He tried to be away from his family to join a monastery to become a monk. So that was the assessment, the original assessment of the Buckeye Police Department. He also described to me that he felt the vehicle was here for 30 days because he saw some rainwater in a hard hat in the vehicle. But I want to tear apart all those assessments and all those things. As we guys know, from what I'm going to show you guys from our point of view, and I say our, I had to hire my own private investigator because what I heard from the Buckeye Police Department, I haven't been on the scene at the time. They didn't show me. They just showed me something after they took everything from the scene. But what I heard, you guys, of course, it's crazy. So I had to hire my private investigator, and from there is what I'm saying. He was able to assess the scene. He came out to the scene, and I'm telling you guys, when he came out to the scene, he came out the scene freshly. Even with his timing coming out the scene, what you guys see right here is totally different from what it was when you guys would hear me talking about the Buckeye Police Department, who hired their investigator almost 2 months after this vehicle was found, who came out on the scene. And I'm telling you guys, hundreds of people is terrorizing this scene. All kind of tracks coming through there. without ATVs, UTVs going up and down this hill, walking. There's people stealing the glass. Believe it or not, people's collecting the glass from the scene. You guys, you can see the glass here, collecting glass from the scene to this glass here as souvenirs. We had people actually doing that. I don't know why, but that's what they were doing. Again, you guys, this one of the boots that was found. The panel, what I later found, I'm going to talk about is so it was no glass, you guys, but the panel that's here came from there. So I'll be talking about those things that I missed on the other night. That you guys, I say some things got muted out and the airbags. But I want to show you a couple of things when I want to start off with what I found when I heard the story. I didn't believe it, like I said, but when I found when I had to interview. Of course, I do a lot of interviews, you guys, in my investigation. I interviewed the rancher. He came out to my hotel, and him and his wife, and we had a discussion. It so happened my private investigator was coming up to bring me some things, and so he was end up being able to also be a part of the conversation and the meeting I had with the rancher, who gave me his insights and what happened and his side of the story that law enforcement wasn't interested in. They was interested in only one part of his testimony, that he just found the vehicle, but they weren't interested in his assessment, his eyewitness account, what he saw on the scene, and he was here. He was here 2 days prior, and he was here the day the vehicle showed up in the desert. It wasn't there 2 days prior, as according to what he told me, and but it showed up the second time he came out into the ravine. He also expressed to me that at the time when I did the interview, the tracks that we see out there now wasn't ever there. That's his land. His land is right there. This area right here, where the vehicle found is right up against federal land. He said there's no tire tracks. There's nothing out there because of the hundreds of volunteers that I had in in my searches. That area is crowded with tracks. So I'm saying that for a reason, you guys, because next the next thing to consider, part three, I'll be talking about the Buckeye Police Department and their investigators report. I'll be talking about some of those things and reason why, how a guy say he's a professional person relies on a picture and not actual facts, right? And again, it goes back to the depth perception I just showed you guys. If you look at the picture, a person will say, "Oh man, that's on flat. How that vehicle flipped over on some flat land." It's depth perception because of, like I said before, it's pictures. You need something you can see tangibly. You can measure some things, measure some damage and things like that, and make some real conclusion, like my investigator did. So again, all right. What I want to start off, like I said, with the rancher, and one thing I'm pointing out with these pictures, and I'm going through kind of fast, you guys, because I want to make sure I'm getting certain points. On this picture, you see the vehicle the way the rancher saw it as well at the scene before law enforcement got there. And one thing he pointed out, few things he pointed out about Daniel's vehicle that made a whole lot of sense to me. If I can get it right, I'll start off right here, you guys. One thing he pointed out to me is the condition that he saw about this vehicle. One thing for sure, you guys, this man, he's a fourth generation cattle rancher. Like I said, he owns his land out here. He see things. He tell me, "Hey, look, man, a lot of things turn out in this desert. All kind of stuff turns out in the desert. People get rid of things, they throw it out in this desert." And he's seen vehicles in the desert before. And one of the things that struck him was how clean the tires were, how clean the vehicle was. When I say, of course, you're gonna see it on the bottom of the vehicle here, guys. This is the bottom vehicle. Any vehicle mostly gonna be dark dirt on the bottom. But he showed me, telling me about how the pictures he took. He took a lot of pictures too. I have a lot of pictures from the rancher too. You guys pretty much look the same, but that was his pictures. But like I said, you guys, no dirt. He was looking, showing all the stuff, how clean the tires were, and it goes back again, you guys, to the Buckeye Police Department assessment. They want to have this rain theory. They're really hard up on this rain theory. This vehicle was supposedly been riding the way they say it's riding and getting into this ravine and bumping and driving, whatever. Got into the ravine and they double talked themselves, and you would see all kind of mud splash all up on the vehicle or whatever the case, things like that. The tires would have been muddy and things like that from this so-called rain. And you don't see that here. And he said, "Hey, man, this thing is too clean." He said it was so clean to him that he thought the persons were still out there who vehicle turned over, right? So him and his other gentleman was out there yelling for this person. Nobody showed up. Then he realized this must be that vehicle that he heard on local news, and that's what caused him to call law enforcement, right? And so, when I'm gonna go back on this vehicle a little bit too, what he's pointed out as well. He also pointed out this is his pictures, guys. I want to back up a little bit. One of the things he was worried about the most when he first, I guess, law enforcement and also Daniel's job realized that he had pictures. He told me he kept asking me, say, man, he met me at my hotel because he wanted to make sure I got these pictures and he wanted to make sure I got what he had to say. For whatever reason, he was really urgently wanting to tell me the stuff. He told me that he's getting give me the pictures because he wanted to. He said he kept getting harassed. Him and his wife could barely eat dinner. Major New World was calling back to back and trying to get the pictures and say, hey, you got these pictures and we want to see that we need those pictures from you and blah, 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 trying to get the pictures from him literally. And he said, before anybody get it from law enforcement confiscated or whatever case may be, he wanted to make sure I have a copy of it. And that's why I have copies of it just in case. He gave me his pictures before law enforcement gave me these pictures. I had to go through that meeting, and let me back up. I'll take that back. He gave me the pictures after I had the meeting with law enforcement, but he made it really quick. Is what I want to say. He had no hesitation on. He was trying his best to reach out to me to a point. He reached back into my hometown. He called a local news channel that I did an interview with, and that's how he got in contact with me to make sure that I had these pictures. Again, you guys, according to the Buckeye Police Department, this vehicle is supposed to have been riding some rain. It's been raining so hard. It came into the ravine and he was digging into the dirt. If you read that report from this, that I'm going to talk about the next time, from this investigator, accident reconstructionist they hired to rebut everything my investigator found. And you can see this vehicle right here, no mud. It looks clean, just like the rancher would say. Let me put a real little closer, guys, so you can actually get the in depth what I'm saying about this vehicle. Very clean. This don't even appear to be a vehicle that was riding in some so-called muddy, rainy day weather. Right? The vehicle was brought here, you guys. It's just like my investigator says when he did the assessment of the vehicle. The damage just don't match terrain. You cannot make it do so. I don't care what the law enforcement trying to do for whatever they're trying to do it for, and in my opinion, and also this so-called investigator had, in my opinion, his motivations are, and the thing is, you guys, none of this match what they're saying with their mouth, right? And the little information they put together from you can make anything fit, you guys. You can make some things you can put together on some report and try to make it fit into your narrative, but it always going to have holes in it, just like this, you guys. That's why you go through and look at what they're saying and use common sense. Everybody gave us common sense. You guys heard me say that before. God gave us common sense. That's one thing we have. And we could take those common sense and then say, hey, something's phony and fishy about the story you give me. I hear what you're saying. Your data saying saying this, blah, 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 and what you're saying with your mouth without evidence. But it don't sound right. Don't pass the smell test, you guys. No rain, no muddy tires. The tires look mighty clean to be dragging down across the desert as they wanted to be, and ended up in this ravine. That's the first thing I saw when I started looking at these pictures. Other thing is, like I told you guys, I do my own investigation. I let my investigator do his investigation. People don't know because I never said it in public. I even had a second PI at one point to do a different kind of investigation to look into human trafficking. He had my son on a national database where law enforcement can't even use this, which I'm trying to figure out why. But it's a face recognition type system. If Daniel's out there somewhere, anywhere, every place, if you get caught up in some type of ATM camera, this, that, blah, blah, it'll give alert and we can definitely locate them, right? So I had that system going, as well as I had another investigator as well that's giving me tips how to do what I was doing on my investigation, but he was in Washington State. So I've been doing a lot, you guys, a lot of things you guys haven't heard in the public, but I've been doing a lot on my behalf to make sure I'm doing my own investigation in my own way outside of law enforcement. So like I said, you guys, when you hear Chief Hall in the past who was accusing me, lucky he's not there anymore, accusing me and putting out false information about that I'm holding back evidence and information from law enforcement. First of all, like I told you guys last time, I don't work for law enforcement. I do not owe them anything. But everything that I have collected, I gave it to law enforcement. You guys can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You can put up, go to the site where you can actually upload information. And that information to this day, as I'm speaking, still, though I don't trust Buckeye, still go to Buckeye Detective Biffin. If you guys upload something right now, have some evidence, you take some pictures, say, look, I need law enforcement. You can go to policehelpfindan.com, upload it, it goes straight to law enforcement, copy come to me. And at one point when I had my private investigator, one copy goes to him as well, right? So I have those records as well for those things on count for my own records. So again, you guys, my investigator pointed out that this right here, this glass is on the ground. Somebody put that glass on the ground. It did not match the glass on that vehicle. Those are two different glasses. This is the only place where glass is broken out in this vehicle. This glass that's here on the ground is not the glass that comes out of the side window of a vehicle. It's glass, you guys. It's been crushed up and nicely and all that to make it appear a certain way. But when you go on the scene and actually look at this glass and get this glass, it's not the glass according to my investigator. I'm just saying, you guys, this is a report I get back from my investigator. I'm not the expert on that. He is. The other part is he explained to me that this vehicle door was open at the time of impact, for one thing, at one point. And that's the reason why this window is fold. And also that's why there's minimal glass. If you take the glass that's inside this vehicle as it is from that scene, or as it is when he was able to get it, it's not even a handful of glass. So that means all the glass would have had to be out here in this little spot. But could you guys imagine a car rolling over and flipping, as the Buckeye Police Department would like to suggest? And all the glass that come out this window is perfectly laying in this little small little section right here. It ain't scattered all over the place. You don't see glass all up here. You don't see it all over here. It is perfectly laying in one spot, crushed up in little tiny little pieces like that. To me, it's like somebody took some rocks and just crushed some glass down, put glass down and crushed in the spot to make it look like it. But instead of, no, criminals do stupid stuff to me. Criminal mind is a dumb mind, like Martin Lawrence would say. So, but if they wanted to make it appear, they could have kicked the glass around and make it look like it's scattered all over the place. Sometimes they miss things. Also, the fact, you guys, on the scene, just looking at assessing the pictures, and like I was saying, you guys, I'm making these points based on what my investigator did by measurements and things like that. I look at the pictures, hindsight, with that information from my investigator, and I can look at some things myself, and that's why I'm able to give you guys what I think about it. If this glass is also the vehicles out here from the desert for over 30 days, you guys, there would the ranchers expressing me the vehicle itself, like I said, would have been dirty. Let's say even dry without rain, it would have been dirty, filthy. I don't know if you guys know anything about the desert, but the desert have dust storms every evening. It's dry, the wind's blowing. Whenever the wind blows dust, anything like a vehicle would collect dust. And when I say dust, and people in Phoenix will tell you, there's almost a car wash on every corner. The car wash business in Arizona, Phoenix especially, is a big booming business. I mean, they making money. You can find all types of car washes out there. They got the little things to blow, because it's a desert state, and everything's getting dusty, and you got to stay clean. You got to constantly wash your car because of dust. And I mean, they don't have the kind of muddy stuff, 'cause they don't have that much rain, but they have a lot of dust. And this vehicle sit here for 30 days would have been dusty, dirty, dusty, dusty, dusty. And that's one thing you point out. And the way to point that out as well, again, you guys, clean. If you in South Carolina, we often, when I was a child, we see people don't wash their cars, and we used to go behind on their cars and windows like this, and we write, "Wash me, please," or something like that, right? Because you know it's filthy, right? And so you're able to write on somebody's glass because the car is dirty. It's dirty. It's not clean, and it's collecting dust. Could you imagine now washing your car for 30 days sitting in the desert? Wouldn't you be able to say, "Wash me," right on here? I can see the reflection on the ground from this window because it's so clean, right? You can see the reflection. It wasn't even out there for 2 days. That's the reason why I tell you guys was out there on the 17th, and the vehicle showed up on the 19th. Too clean, too clean. No, nothing there to say, hey, somebody write on that can be able. I couldn't go over there. Buckeye couldn't go over there and write on police found this vehicle or something. They couldn't write anything on that glass. It's clean because it wasn't out there. So you guys, those are kind of things I looked at and argued back and forth with law enforcement on this behalf. Also, you guys, a couple things I told you guys before from my investigator standpoint. You see the impact, the vehicle did come in impact with something from the front end, crumpled up this area here. Like I said, the door was open at the time it happened. Excuse me. But also, we don't know this pre or post, but he did mention that the fact that something or someone smashed this side with something heavy objects on this side and on this side. These are two inward impressions, not outward impressions, but they're inward impressions on that windshield, and also the damage on the metal piece up here, just barely right across this little part here. One thing I could tell you guys for a couple things, the glass is weakened. There's nothing on you can see out here on the desert. That's why he said don't match the desert. You don't see nothing that went into that windshield from this ravine on both sides. First of all, the second part from the center part, this part went to the center part here, and closer to the top part. Excuse me, on this end. One thing for sure, you guys, I have that vehicle in a stored, secured location. And one thing I learned hindsight as well about a Jeep Renegade, and I've seen some, and he showed me the gentleman there showed me what he thought about the vehicle, and that's all they do. They collect they don't collect, but they have vehicles stored for insurance purposes. Insurance companies use their facilities for cases cases that's going on, lawsuits or whatever the case may be, and that's where vehicles are stored. All right, it's almost like property or evidence locker in a sense for vehicles. And he told me, he said, you know what? They see the vehicle and he heard that the Buckeye Police Department claiming the vehicle rollover and all that. And he showed me, he said, Mr. Ron, I'm gonna show you something. He took me into this area and he said, I'm gonna show you what a rollover Jeep Renegade looks like. And all of this is crushed in. The weight of the vehicle itself would crush root. I don't know if you guys seen rollovers in your life, but it would not hold up that vehicle here. For one thing, the other part is, you guys, nothing up here is touch the ground, right? Nothing up here touch the ground. This into the arrow is not bent down or nothing. Nothing up here touch the ground. Um, but like I said, it would have been smashed down in it from the weight, right? He told me that. And one thing that caused it to do that as well is the integrity of this glass. This glass has an integrity also with that roof. And when that integrity, this right here, this side window, this right here, when that integrity is there, it even weakens the structure of that roof area anyway. So when the vehicle turned over on there, it would crush in, because if it was as violent as law enforcement claiming, um, that roof would have been smashed all in into the this part here should be way down here somewhere, smashed in. Other part is, you guys, if you go look really closely again, there aren't any scratches across this. I don't know. I always call them the I don't even know what to call luggage rack or something. That's what I think back in the day. So I don't know what to call it, but there's no damage here, you guys. No scratches from the desert, and like I said, the radio antenna is not bent, and this is not smashed all up, and the panel's not smashed and dirt all on. It did not touch the ground, guys. It wasn't a rollover. And so you got to use the common sense. So what I'm saying, you guys, also the fact is the panel, and I'm going to talk about the panel shortly, because that's what I'm leading up to, you guys. The panel, something that, like I said again, the law enforcement felt he kicked his way out of the sunroof with the glass. That's why it's there. That's what Detective Biffin told me. And my investigator told them there ain't no glass in this vehicle. Jeep Renegades don't have glass, and they don't. They have panels. They don't have glass, right? It's Jeep Renegade. And this is the panel right here, you guys. This is a panel for the back. That's a panel for the front. And to release these panels, you have to have a special key to release them out. They clamp down in there. They have hooks, metal hooks, steel hooks, whatever you want to call it, metal, right? You're not just going to kick your way out of that. Excuse me. The other part is, guys, you see this right here? Like the rancher would say, Mr. Robinson, when he took from his pictures, everything he's talking about from his pictures. Let your son is a superhero. I don't know how he lift the vehicle up and put this up under there like that, right? And so again, you guys, it don't go with what law enforcement assessments are by him kicking out the sunroof and all this kind of crazy stuff they come up with. The sad part is, guys, you guys already know some of the details of the accident. For those who don't know, my investigator found out one of the details that I'm going to put that's relevant to what I'm talking about is that that was 46 initial cycles before, after these airbags deployed. There was 46 initial cycles. Somebody was cranking the vehicle up 46 times. 46, 46, you guys. 46 times. And could you imagine any human sitting inside a vehicle that's lying on the side right here on the passenger side, cranking a vehicle up 46 times? It's humanistically impossible. So you can imagine Daniel supposedly, allegedly, according to the Buckeye Police Department, sitting in this vehicle while it's lying on the side like this. He in the driver's seat with a seatbelt on, I guess at that time they want to claim, and he's there cranking the vehicle, pressing the the brake pedal, and cranking it up 46 times for what reason? Why it's lying on the side? It don't go with logic, it don't go with common sense, and it's physically impossible, especially if a person so-called being in some type of rollover accident. The other part is, guys, again, no head injury. They claim there was nothing tested to say it wasn't no blood in the video. They didn't see no blood. The other part is, you guys, I'm gonna get to. We're gonna talk about those airbags. Other part is when you look at this whole area of the vehicle. I think I want to go the right direction. Let's see here, you guys. Want to make sure I find the right pictures here. A couple of things with this. Oh, there we go. Now, this is the passenger side vehicle. So if he's up there in this area, you guys, coming down, unlooses his seatbelt, he obviously gonna fall down towards the passenger side, right? And then they say he was kicking his way out of the sunroof. He got his way, he kicked his way out of the sunroof. I don't see no impact marks all on the white part of the vehicle where he so called down here in the seatbelt, kicking out here. The other part is, guys, if you look at this angle also, is closer to where the sunroof is near the back seat. You still don't see any foot marks and boot marks where he's trying to kick his way out of there. The other part is, if I can get this panel, I think I must have the picture too large here. But the panel, you guys, is also, if you look at this, you don't see any. This is the inside part of that panel. You don't see any boot prints or something where he must have kicking or damage on the actual panel. I think I have a better shot of that panel. I'm just see if I can find that, you guys. But you don't see any imprints or no footprints on those panels. So it just don't add up. It just don't. The story that they want to give the public and give me as a family. There you go. The family. It just don't add up to the realities of what you see. Don't believe what they say. Believe your eyes. Believe what you see in your common sense, you guys. And you can see this right here. There's no footprints and all the outside of the boot sitting on top of it, and a little bit of dirt from whatever from blowing desert or whatever the case may be. You don't see any kick marks and all that kind of stuff up on the vehicle. No damage to the hooks here and et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure it's damage on the other side of the hook. I don't know. But it's stuck up under the vehicle, you guys, stuck up under the vehicle. I'll say the panel was sitting there first and the vehicle laid on top of it. The other thing, you guys, I want to make sure I'm not missing any points. All right. I'll say, okay, let's see if I can get back on this point here. I want to see if anybody have any questions and things like that too. So I want to look into the comment section. And I want to say, first of all, to my daughter Talia, she's right here with me too. And I want to put her up there first. So, but yeah, and hello you, baby. But anyway, just wanted to say, my daughter Talia, thank you for joining in with me. So, anybody else who have any more questions, I just want to kind of look at that first before I continue on, because last night I was unable to answer some of the questions I would have loved to. And let's see here if I can find anybody. And one thing, Ellie, you put here, I see here, water damages in the interior horribly. But it's like the car wash for auto exterior sometimes. Now, the water damages the interior horribly. It does, but it's like a car wash for the auto exterior sometimes. So what I'm going to show you guys, and that go to a point, Ellie, that I want to talk about what Buckeye said as well about all this water damage that I didn't see, right? And tried to back up this claim of the hard hat filling up with water. And I told you guys I tried it with a bucket. I am a hard hat, but with a bucket and try to see how much water collected in the bucket. And I did it for over 30 days, and we have a lot more rain than and it's straight out. I have straight it over, no trees, nothing blocking it, and I still didn't fill up that much water as you see there on in that hard hat that's inside the vehicle being blocked. And let me see here. PM channel, I like what you put there. I'll try to see if you guys have any questions. You got any questions, please put a question mark there, the word question before your question. Then I can see it as it comes down because a lot of comments. And I will come back to some of your comments at the end, but I want to try to see if I can answer some of the questions. PM channel, thank you so much. With all these questions marks surrounding the vehicle, why wouldn't Buckeye consider looking deeper? Your research is remarkable. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. That makes me wonder as well. Um, and the reason why I say that makes me wonder is because I always have that reservation that it's some form of cover up that is extended to this. And the reason why I say that, you guys, because there's a lot more I know that the public won't know, and I keep saying this over and over again. Yeah, of course, a lot of things I can't say to public. I can't even say them to my family members. I can't, some things I had to keep to myself because of the integrity of my investigation, my independent investigation. But I'm sure law enforcement know what I know. At least I hope they do. And I guess sometimes I wonder if they're right that they feel what Buckeye told me the FBI felt, that decided not to come to my case because they said the FBI said, you, Mr. Robinson, are doing such a great job on your own. We don't need to come in here. So maybe I'm doing a better job than the FBI and Buckeye. I'm just saying that facetiously, but what I'm saying is, yes, is out of that some type of cover up, or they just don't care, you guys. So to answer that question, I don't know why they don't want to deep dive in it. What they have done, I can tell you, PM channel, just what I said earlier, instead of embracing what my investigator found and look into it, they waited over a month. They took what he said because he was really reluctant to do it. He gave them information. They took a month to, I think about it, and they hired their own private investigator. I don't want to accept that because what he showed was foul play. He shows a staged event. He talked about it on News Nation. He talked about it on CNN. He talked about it wherever he did interviews with it as well. And they didn't want to accept that. They didn't want to accept that, and they went ahead and hired their own private investigator. And again, I'm telling you how that was, how that went. This investigator that they hired have never, and I say this over and over again, I keep telling you guys, he have never seen Daniel's vehicle, never physically touch it at all, didn't see it physically with his eyes, didn't do no measurements, didn't look at the damage. Everything he have done when it comes to my son's vehicle was done by the same exact pictures you guys see right here tonight. And then the crazy part about it, he decided to go to a scene after the fact, almost 2 months later, after 200 to 300 people each week for weeks, you guys, walking and driving and tracks here and tracks there, and to say this is the track of the vehicle at that point of view. He don't have any evidence on the ground to measure anything from, right? So he don't have any pictures of the tracks that he claimed it came from the top area. Those tracks came from us riding up and down that area, looking down at the scene. Not just us. News Nation was there. CNN was driving down in there. Volunteers were driving down in there. How he know which track was the track that led this vehicle to that point? Because he wasn't there. And so I'm saying, you guys, when you guys can allow law enforcement to look into your family member's case and do jobs like that, have jobs and shady jobs like this, guys, you got to question these things. And I'm saying, you guys, they just met the wrong person, and I'm just think a lot different. My brain thinks a lot different, and I just don't want to allow law enforcement to give shady work, and that's the reason why people remain missing. Right? It's impossible for their private investigator to make any assessment of something he have never seen in his life, and he wasn't there at the time it happened. He wasn't the first one on the scene to make assessment of tracks that's on the ground. He don't know what tracks was what at that point. All of us was going down. I even went down that area with an ATV vehicle and some people with they 4x4 trucks and stuff. Who said that was Daniel tracks where he made on that report? What angle he talking about it came from third party pictures and all this crazy stuff. That's a bunch of his report is useless. That's the whole point I'm making. But it was done in a way, you guys, just to try to rebut my investigator's finding. Because, like I said, my investigative finding would say something criminal happened here, and they don't need that in Buckeye. You already know Buckeye have a history of falsifying reports because of crime statistics. They don't want to talk about the crimes that happened in the Buckeye, for instance, right? So it's easy for them to do that too, right? So that's the kind of thing that, like you said, the reason why I feel that they won't do it, and that's the reason I'm trying to go through the outside law enforcement agencies, and it make me question even about some of the other agencies in Arizona. But I'm really trying to my best to try to give the benefit of doubt to an outside agent that would be able to come in and look at this stuff and treat it fairly and go through these things as they would if it was their own, if it was a law enforcement vehicle, like I told you guys, lying on the same in the same situation. But thanks so much for that question. I really appreciate that, PM Channel. Also, how has the new Buckeye Police Chief been? I haven't talked to him yet. Did he take off office in January? Yes, he did. And that's Chief Sanders. He just he's the assistant chief for Chief Hall. He did it before. That's shady business to me in a way. This falsifying reports, and he got suspended. Chief Hall, that is, and he should have got fired. And one of the guys, I guess, is coming out so much heat on him, he quit. And then they let Chief Hall stay, and then he got in trouble for some bad business he did outside his job as chief of police, and got in trouble for that. And they still kept. I'm telling you, that's the city managers and all the rest of them there. How they running that city, you guys, the good old boy, whatever the thing going on there. I don't know what they got going on there, but they're keeping the Chief Hall on there for a reason. And then when the heat came down on Chief Hall, they moved him out of chief position for a little while. They put him in some area of city manager where it seemed like a demotion to simple, but it actually was in promotion because city manager pays they that's where the law enforcement get their money from. They control their money. And then after I guess this little problem was over, then they brought him back again. So Sanders over there, up and down, up and down. Chief Hall came back, and then I guess before another he retired to get on out of there. But I found out he's not really out of there either. Still not out of there. He's a consultant now for the Buckeye Police Department. So I'm saying, you guys, this guy have his hand into everything. And I can tell you some guys, some deep dive stuff I found too about Chief Hall, former Chief Hall. That would be coming out pretty soon when I start getting my investigation about that too. Because I investigate everybody, you guys. So you guys need to know about that too. But yes, I haven't talked to any of those people, LE. And so I'm gonna get back to this report, you guys, because I do see the question I want to get back to. Were fingerprints ever taken from the Jeep? No, no fingerprints were taken from the Jeep. I requested it in a meeting on the 22nd of July. And I thought that's what they was doing, but I found it turned out. I asked them because they didn't do any forensic work. You see, y'all gonna see no forensic markers on the ground. They didn't know, zero. I have a recording call of myself with Detective Biff and explaining to me why he felt he didn't want to do any. He didn't see a reason to do any forensics on the scene. And also in that meeting, I have that recorded as well as with also a witness with the NAACP, why they didn't do it. They didn't see with their eyes in the blood in the vehicle, etc. But I asked them to do fingerprinting. They didn't do fingerprinting. Turn out they did swabbing the steel wheel, the shifter, and I think the door handle or something like that, the inside panel. And that's it. And to this date, they haven't even processed that. It's been 2 years, over 2 years since my son has been missing and haven't processed anything with that. Just that little part. They're refusing for 2 years now to do the airbags. As you guys, I'm going to show you. That's why I say I'm gonna get back to this. They refuse to do the airbag testing. They refuse to check this, the seats on both sides of the vehicle, swap those two. And also they need to check the clothing to see if it's dangerous clothing, especially when the family say we don't recognize it. Why ignore the family? You have guys, I'm telling you something. When I go through this whole things to consider, I'm going to tell you guys things that is not in a report that you have never heard that the family and I discussed. Some of the recorders as well with law enforcement, and you will see why they are being selective on what they want in their report if it matches what their narratives are. Is the only thing that made a report, even down to the young lady that my son met. Everything matches to a narrative they wanted, in my opinion, to create. But anything outside of that narrative, it would not make it in a report, like the rancher's account of this crime scene. Would not make it into the police report. And he's an eyewitness. Okay, I have a question here. What is your personal theory or belief on what happened? I'm new here. Well, I know one thing for sure. I won't know total answers until we get this forensics done, but I know it's foul play in this scenario, and it's foul play that happened at the scene. When I say foul play happened at this scene, I don't think it happened at the scene. It happened somewhere else, but it was brought to the scene, and that's what I really believe when it comes to foul play. But we do have I have evidence of other things. I have eyewitnesses. I have that law enforcement should have, you guys. I shared it with them. So, like I said, they selective now. We have eyewitnesses of people who have seen other person who's seen Daniel's vehicle, a husband and a wife team, seen Daniel's vehicle near 1 o'clock on Sun Valley Parkway area. What I was told. So I'm going to share those things with you. But law enforcement say this thing was here at 9 o'clock in the morning, nine something near 10 in the morning. And they rely on the app that the owners of the app telling them not to use. Relying on an app that's unreliable, it's not accurate at every case, and it shouldn't be used for this point, right? And so that's what I'm saying, you guys. So we got a couple things I will be going over. Let's see, but I do have my own theories, and my theories, like I said, is based on foul play. But I won't have answers until I get the forensics done. So let's see here. And I'm gonna go back up real quick. And the reason why I haven't gotten, I can go places people always offer, hey, look, man, and I did it before, and I learned a lot when it comes to investigating. Um, One of the problems I have is that I'm still reluctant. I'm getting to a point I'm gonna have to do what I have to do, but I'm reluctant to go do forensics myself, get it done other places, right? It's because of the chain of custody being messed up. And I don't know if this is by design with the Buckeye Police Department too. It's messed up. You guys, if somebody may come, and God forbid if it happened, come and say, yeah, I did X, Y, Z. Don't you know any defense attorney would be able to get this person off based on the shady job that law enforcement had did from day one when this vehicle showed up? Because of what they did. They gave me the vehicle the first day, the second day after it was found, right? It was July 19th, 2021. The vehicle was found July 20th. They gave it over to me. I just couldn't get it out of there fast enough. I asked them to hold it for 3 days. I had that meeting. Make a long story short, once I asked for those fingerprints done, they said they can do it. Chief Hall said he can do it. They held it for another few days, but I got a private investigator and I told them to get it up out of there because I knew I had that time. I called them and said, y'all finished this fingerprint. I thought it was fingerprinting. They said they were done with the vehicle. I was coming to get it. I sent somebody up there. When he got up there, Chief Hall said, yeah, you can go up there and get it. Went up there to go pick the vehicle up. And then when they asked him a question, like Mr. McGrath, asked him what he's going to do with the vehicle. And he said, hey, we're going to investigate. He needed black box data information. They gave it to him. That's where he got it from. They didn't read it or anything. But they gave it to him. He said he's going to go through it and read it, the data, and also that he is going to remove the infotainment system and send out to California for analysis. When they heard that, I don't know why they got afraid or whatever the case may be. They started making calls. I think it was Lieutenant Angel or something. I can't think of what his name was, but they end up making these phone calls, and then all of a sudden it turned out we're not going to let the vehicle go, and they called me in Phoenix and had me drive 40 miles away back up to Buckeye to sign a piece of paper to allow my investigator to take it off the premises. And so they tried to play hardball, you guys, but they couldn't hold it because they already gave me the vehicle. They just wanted to say, hey, I came and got it. I didn't come get it personally or something or other. But anyway, the thing is, you guys, it's a lot to the story that I'm going to really share, and I don't want to go through it the whole night. But thank you so much for these questions. I'm gonna do one more question, then I'm gonna get back to where I was at because I'm running out of time. I'm trying not to do it too long, but I want to get back to some other points. Question: will other police departments in Tempe, Phoenix, able to do the forensics? Can the FBI do the forensics? Yeah, I'm glad you brought that back up because, like I said, I just want to mess with integrity, so I make sure law enforcement is involved. I did get law enforcement, so don't get confused, you guys, when you hear the report when they say, "Oh, we had Tempe or whatever do forensics." Buckeye didn't have any word in that. Didn't have any movement into another department doing forensics on my son's electronics. It was a meeting that I had my team, the A team, myself, my team, and I went to talk to Mayor Woods of the Tempe, the mayor of Tempe, along with the chief, two Chief Anderson and Glover at the time, and we had a meeting, us alone. And I was able to, my team and I was able to convince them to do the forensics just on my son's electronics, everything electronic, to do the phone back over and everything, right? That Buckeye had. And so they agreed to do it. We had agreement. I was able to get ready to bring it up to them, but they said they was doing it to me for me as a favor. But one of the stipulations to that was to give Buckeye information of the findings. Whatever they find, they can give them a copy. I can tell you guys I had some reservation against that because I don't trust Buckeye. I really feel some type of cover up, and I feel they shouldn't know so much themselves because of that, right? So I do feel that way, and I can be honest with that. That's my feelings. And the thing is, being law enforcement is impossible for them to not share this with the Buckeye Police Department too, right? So okay, I agreed to that. Finally, I agreed to it. I just need this information. So once the report came back, they gave me a copy of the report, and then they gave the Buckeye Police Department a copy of the report. And so that's what I end up finding the information I can. We'll be talking about you guys about the apartment. So I'll be doing that as well. But yes, I have been trying really hard to get DPS, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office PM channel, to do the forensics, and I'm still working on that. January 16, 2024, channels ABC announced that the Buckeye Police is building a new 12K a square foot facility for 911 communication. It costs $16 million. And that probably has something with Chief Hall being some type of consultant, but I haven't heard about that. Um, but they need it. And the reason why they're building this big facility, you guys, is because of the area my son was doing this work at, and his job is to assess with the company to assess if there's enough groundwater in that area, and we already know it's not. This facility that this community that's want to be built there is supposed to be built there. I'm sure they already started working on it, despite that it's not enough water there, because it's going to be bringing in millions of dollars to Buckeye, and it's going to make Buckeye one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, and it's going to bring all this money. It's a European developer who's building all of this and going to house this. It's a smart city, you guys, and it's really beautiful and nice, but it's not water sustaining. And I'm sure a person like my son stopping something like that just by some water issue, because that's by law you have to produce that amount of water. Because of water issue, these people are losing their money investment in, and I'm saying it goes back to some things I found out, you guys, you would be shocked about as well, the way it all ties in together. Too many people got their hands in a lot of stuff. Too many people related to some of these things that's going on, and it's all out there. It's easy for you all to look at it if you find it. If you look hard enough, you can find it. I did. But thank you so much. Somebody said I missed the question above. John, Mr. Q. If I missed the question, I apologize for that. I don't know which one is it. But I will go to this one, Stephen. Thanks so much. Is the FBI involved? No, they are not. They never were. The first time Buckeye told me, I went to them with my attorney to ask them to bring in the FBI. My son's, it's an argument about where this vehicle is placed right now. It was placed when at the crime scene. Uh, my assessment from when I on the ground standing right here in this spot where the vehicle was found is on federal land, BLM land, Bureau of Land Management, federal land. But it's argument of this, and it's sad, you guys, because I've seen in certain cases, and you guys know, right here, this is where the vehicle is. On this side of that ravine is the rancher, right? And the reason why he came down this ravine because it's his land, right? That's what he's saying, this area. But I say, you know what? Uh, this right here, when I look at the map, and that's based on what BLM sent me, you guys. They sent me the map themselves. This vehicle is clearly the ravine itself on point. Now, this area back here is the rancher. The ravine itself is on federal land. But some people argue, say, no, federal land starts right here somewhere. That's what Buckeye would say. They argue, oh, that's fair. Everything from this point on back out west is federal land, right? Now, I've seen a case, and I'm not going to say it over and over again because his family need a rest and they're doing some great things. But I've seen federal law enforcement come in only because of proximity to federal land. Something this close to federal land, who's to say the crime didn't happen in federal land and end up in this ravine? So just by the proximity, it's almost like a person get pulled over and and they accessory to something they actually didn't do anything. But I almost look at it that way when that proximity is so close. We can argue the exact spot of where federal land starts, but I can't tell you yes, federal officers should be in the case. And I'm telling you, when I went there to find out this so-called FBI agent that came to the Buckeye Police Department that said he was doing a assessment of Daniel's case. And when he came in, the first thing they did, guys, I'm telling you, as soon as I heard about it, we asked them, and they said, "Yeah, Chief Hall was like, yeah, we calling the FBI now and see they can do assessment." And the response right back immediately in real time was, "I need to be a part of that," right? And when we said that, she said she put it in the terms where she don't have to be there, but make sure Mr. Robinson is part of this case briefing, right? He did not respond to the reply to that. We replied to him, but he didn't respond to reply to us. And then he called me back a week later, and because she told me to give him some time to respond, and that's what she was thinking. But no, the response back was, we had this case briefing, and the FBI said, "You, Mr. Robinson, doing such a great job of your own. We didn't come in." Right? Devastating to me and my family. So of course I'm going to go find out who this agent is. Went to Phoenix field office where he worked, this agent, and I'm telling you guys, they treated me and Mr. Farmer like we were criminals. When I'm saying like we was gonna come in there FBI and do some stuff or something, I don't know. Unarmed people with nothing in our hands, walking up to the booth, to the guard shack they have there. And we supposed to be meeting this guy. The guy know we coming. What's something like shock to him and thing. We told him we're coming, whatever, to see the agent, talk to him. And they would not even let us in the building, guys. They put us in the left us in this little area of that guard shack, and this guy came with two armed guys with him, like we gonna do something, I guess. I don't know. It was weird way. And then when I said in nice tone, you guys, hey, I was about to say, hey, how you doing, sir? My name is Dave Robinson. And before I can finish, I said, hey, my name is, and he said, I know you, and start yelling at me. I'm like, I couldn't even get my words out, And that's the initial intake from the FBI in Phoenix field office, right? So I knew that things weren't gonna go right with that. So what I'm saying, you guys, I started looking elsewhere to Attorney General and some of the others. But again, no, they're not a part of this. But let me go real quick, you guys, to get back on this because I'm really getting off track. And some of the things I want to talk about this vehicle again. Like I said, you guys, what I found on this scene is real troubling for me. So again, I'm gonna go back to the airbags, and I want to put it in here. And I said this last night. I'm going back to some of the things I have probably missed, you guys, when I had this muted. But all the airbags deployed, and I don't know if you guys had any knowledge about how airbags work a lot of times, right? And you have any small children or pets or something like a German Shepherd or something, they can have a little weight or whatever. But if a little small dog, poodle, whatever, or German Shepherd under or whatever dog under, I would say a German Shepherd, it may be a little 60 pounds. Depends on how big your animal is. But anything under 60 pounds or so, I believe it is about 60 pounds, sitting on the passenger side, right? Um, and you'll see a little light come on here, say airbag, or right up in the dashboard, somewhere around here, wherever it's at, and it says the airbag is off or something, not other, right? Because they can detect that something's there, but it's not heavy enough for, and what it does is sensors in the seat, and it'll say, hey, look, it'll turn the airbags off because airbags can kill children, right? Some people not listening to advice or the manufacturers say, hey, you need to put car seats in the back seat, this, that, blah, blah. They'll have their children, let them run around, jump around in the front seat. And if the airbag deployed, it actually can kill a child. Airbags can kill children, kill your animals. So that's what the safety feature in seats, right? And we a lot of us know that. So that's one thing I want to point out first before I go further. So what I'm planning to do is change screens here, you guys, and show you a video that I did. I'm going back some of the videos. Some of y'all been here already saw the video last night, but I'm gonna go back over it again so you guys can watch this again. So I'm share screen, you guys, and if you guys can, please watch this video here.
Hi, my name's Paul. I'm one of the sales professionals here at Croton Auto Park. The weather's getting nice, so I'll show you how to take the top off of your Jeep Renegade. First, in the pouch in your trunk, you'll find a key. Using the key, you want.
Okay, everybody, I want to back up real quick. I put the wrong video on, but what I want to do is I'll go ahead and jump on this part here. One thing I want to point out real quick. So since this video came up, I'm gonna go ahead and continue the video. But I want to point out something real quick. And I think that's where we probably need to go right now is this video so I can show you a little something here. Um, I'm gonna go back to the panel real quick, you guys, and I have to do this since I put that video up. If I can get you a moment for a second here, let's see where I'm at. Um, but this panels I was telling you about, the vehicle has um, panels instead of sunroof. There's no sunroof and glass and things like that you see in a typical vehicle, right? So that's the part that Buckeye want you guys to believe that somehow my son uses superhuman strength and kicked his way out of a sunroof panel. You got the locking mechanism here, locking mechanism here, locking mechanism here, and this stuff is not released without a special key. And a person who has a Jeep Renegade purposely, now this panel right here doesn't just open. They're supposed to kind of slide with the mechanism. I'm thinking, I'm not totally sure, but I do know they lock in there. And people open these hatch up in summer months and things like that to stay cool and things like that, and just have that air flowing through their vehicle. And like I said, it's something that is a special key that had to be used, and it's always in the back of that vehicle, and like a spare tire or something. So that's why I want to show you the video, you guys, and we can go there from that point of what I'm trying to make when it comes to that vehicle. All right, so that's why I said you guys can hold on with that, and I was going to go ahead and play this video again.
Insert it in the front roof panel, and you turn it to undo the handle. Flip the handle back to unhook the roof panel, step outside, and the panel lifts right off. Quick, easy, painless, and light. On the back panel, you do the same thing with the key to undo the latch, flip the handle, and again, from the outside, you lift the roof panel right off. Nice. In the pouch where you found the key, you can store the roof panels for safekeeping and for easy access.
Okay, you guys, I don't have to go further than that. The whole matter, the whole point, and the reason why I was showing this video is the fact that Buckeye says that somehow he kicked the way out through the sunroof. And, like I said, you guys, you don't see any impact marks. I was saying earlier, no impact marks from the inside of the vehicle. You don't see no impact marks what Mr. Q pointed out to me the other day on the outside of this panel. This is inside where the panel, us inside the vehicle, the outside is on the other side. And there's no kick marks, no damages there. If somebody kicked their way, this ain't bent all up and, that kind of stuff kicking their way out of sunroof. The hinges ain't, that's not broken off. And at least you can see it from this side, it's still intact. But the fact is, the other side, of course, you can't see because it's stuck up under the vehicle. But there's no boot prints and stuff. He's kicking his way all out the sunroof, right? There's no kick marks all on the fabric part of the vehicle on the roof that I showed you earlier. So nobody kicked their way out of this vehicle is what I'm trying to say. And there's no evidence of that, right? So the person would have to say somebody went and got that key out of there, out that trunk, and opened this hatch up, right? So that's one thing for sure. That's one thing for sure. And so that's one of the points I made long time ago to law enforcement. And again, just like one of you said earlier, is that why is this seem like an intentional thing to me? First of all, why aren't law enforcement reassessing a lot of things when it comes to and really take these things to heart? And they don't. Instead of doing that, again, you guys, they went out and hired their own private investigator that just simply was, to me, in my opinion, brought there to rebut anything my investigator had put out there, what he found, right? And so that's the problem I had. But I'm gonna show you something else, and we're gonna talk about this airbag, the airbags. Like I said, you guys, in the scene, this crime scene that law enforcement wants you to believe, with all these airbag deployments, somehow he didn't sustain any injuries, and also all the airbags deployed. You guys, that's what the point I want to make. Airbags here, the steering wheel, the knee, they call this a knee airbag under the steering wheel, the curtains, a steering wheel. And the one thing about Jeep Renegade, when the front airbags deploy, the curtains automatically deploy. They work together. Now, except now, there's one stipulation that if it's a side impact, then the curtains might just pop out on its own. But when it's a front impact, all of that opens up. And it's an optional thing, you guys. So when you see the videos I'm going to show you, it's an option that it should be standard, but it's an option that is given to you know, for a person if they want that in their vehicle or not. It's an option. So it seems like it should be standard, but actually, it's sad to say, it's an option if you want that in your vehicle or not. The side curtains, airbags as well, like I said, guys. So I'm going to show you a video real quick again about on this airbags and how these deployments happen in the airbags. You're going to see a couple things. You're going to see a dummy sitting on the driver's seat, and every time, no matter, some of these vehicles, like I said, don't have side curtains, so no matter how many times that vehicle, how it got hit, the passenger side do not deploy. The only time you'll see the passenger side deploy is when they put a dummy in the passenger side as well. Like I said, with those sensors, that's when it deploys, right? And then some vehicles, like I say, have just the front airbags and some at the side, so you see those differences too. But you also notice that in the back seat, no matter if they have the children or whatever in the back seat, they would not deploy because there's no seat, no airbags back there. But again, doing all the talking, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the video because yeah, this is very important. All right, yeah, so here we go.
You car.
Real quick, you guys, I just want to say one thing, point out one thing as well. I could back this up just a tad, and I want to show you this point here. Why it's important, and I'll keep stressing with law enforcement, why it's important for them to process the airbags, and why I'm asking you guys to help me. A lot of stuff getting in jeopardy of being lost forever. I can't, this costs money to store. For instance, costs money to store the vehicle, etc. Right? And I don't know how long. I don't think about DNA degradation and all this kind of stuff, but I do know it's a couple things they have right here is red paint. If you look really close here, you guys, you can see where the red paint impact off the dummy gets on the airbag, right? I'm sure they're doing it for a couple reasons. They want to see where the person's head actually hit the airbag, or airbag hit the head, or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, it demonstrates how DNA is rubbed off a person's skin, right? Makeup, whatever. It rubs off a person's skin. And so that's an important reason why, again, guys, that's an important reason why the airbag need to be tested. Right here, you guys can see that how that red paint is rubbing against that there. That's exactly the reason why, like I said, you guys, those airbags need to be tested. I don't need the swabbing of a steering wheel. The person's gonna be wearing gloves. I don't need the swabbing of a shifter. They could have been wearing gloves. I don't need the swabbing of a door handle. They could have been wearing gloves. We need some DNA stuff done, some real stuff to try to find something that would get some information that we need, who's in the vehicle. And again, guys, I'm going to show you, and I'll show you the Jeep Wrangler for that paint reason. But then we're going to go to the actual next video will be going straight to the actual 2017 Jeep Renegade, where you can actually see, like I said, again, there would be no deployments. Long as there's somebody on the passenger side, that's when you see the deployments. So I want to play that as well. Okay, what I'm gonna do, you guys, I want to speed it up a little bit. It's certain points I'm saying with the airbag deployment. Like I said, you guys, it only happens. You have the side curtains. You have the side curtains as well as the front airbags deploy when the front end crash happens. You guys notice that if you got the side bag option, no matter what, that from a front end crash, those side curtains open. But you ever notice that on the other side, the passenger side, nothing happened. No side bag air deployment or the front end air, but even though it's a front end crash. And the reasons why, because nobody's sitting in the passenger seat heavy enough, over 60 pounds, to make the airbag deploy. But I'm going to show you the difference when they start adding the dummy. They're going to start adding someone on the passenger side, and then you can see how all the airbags deploy when there's actual a person sitting in the seat. Back airbag deployment won't happen because there's, of course, like I said before, there's no deployments of bags in the back except the side curtains that would be if you have that option. See if I can get it up a little faster here. Okay, you guys, you see it now. We have a whole family of people in the vehicle. And this is the front airbag option only. But the point I'm making with this, you guys, all the airbags deployed that's available in this vehicle is based on the person sitting on the passenger side. And if no one was on the passenger side, it would not be available. One thing you notice is as well on this crash, this dummy crash, watch what happens to the side mirror. Now, on Dane's vehicle, the side mirror did not fall off, but it did get knocked inward, right? And that was just from a front end smash. Nothing hit that mirror. It is falling off, right? But because it's crumbled all the way to the vehicle, it damaged me about this far into the vehicle, almost to the door, right? And the impact caused that mirror to move, and damage happened, right? Now, the Buckeye Police Department wants you to believe that this accident or this incident happened in that ravine. You can look at this crash dummy test, and you can start seeing things falling all over all the windows down, but you can see all the stuff that's falling off the vehicle, right? Falling off the vehicle from a front end crash. You don't see a bunch of debris hanging around in that crash site, right? That like I said, the crime scene. You don't see a whole bunch of debris out there in that crash site. You don't see nothing scattered all over the place. And then they're saying it's a rollover on top of that. Nothing falling off the vehicle. It's just, that type thing. And that's the point I'm making, you guys. There's nothing there to say this accident or this thing happened at this scene. And so it corroborates to me what my investigator found, you guys. And, again, with physical evidence that he's seen himself, he took the vehicle upon himself and did a physical examination of the vehicle. He did his measurements. He did his whole investigative stuff. I don't, like I said, I'm not an investigator, so I don't know when accident reconstruction, so I don't know anything about vehicles like that. But Mr. McGrath did. And what he saw, look at this, you saw that side mirror just flying in the air, you guys. I'm just trying to say, you guys, if, according to what the Buckeye Police Department wants us to believe, we should see a lot more stuff flying around on that crash scene. That vehicle held together very good to say it was a rollover. Held together really good. No other glass broke out of the vehicle. It stayed in shape. And I mean, just imagine that, you guys. I'm gonna show you one more video, and then we're gonna just let this go. And I believe this is where you try to make a point of a side. I think it's a rollover video I want you guys to see with this Jeeps. And it's a Jeep Wrangler. At the same time, it's a rollover. And I just wanted to kind of give a point of where, even with a rollover vehicle, and you guys, even with a rollover vehicle, the airbags didn't deploy on the passenger side, right? Didn't deploy on the passenger side because nobody was sitting there. It's only on the driver's side in these tests. So I think I have it on here. I'm gonna make sure this might be the wrong video, but it's one video I have. Yeah, this is it right here. That's right. Okay, there we go. The point I'm trying to make, you guys, the front impact, airbags deploy, one person in the vehicle. I'm gonna see if I can go back. One person in the vehicle, side airbag impact. I mean front impact. one person in the vehicle, roll over, and this vehicle airbag did not pull on the passenger side, right? Same manufacturers, Jeep, of course, you guys, their vehicle. I just used the because I couldn't find a video with the Jeep Renegade rolling over, but it's an example of how airbags deploy based on who's in the vehicle. And once you see the vehicle lying on the side, you didn't see the side of the vehicle hit the ground and all of a sudden airbag deployed on that side too. No, because no one is there. The computer knows that. So that's the point I want to make, you guys. And so when I look at the crime scene that my son was involved with, there you go again. More DNA on them airbags is what I need DNA testing done. The reasons why. But when I see what the law enforcement the BS they try to give me and my family, I look at things like this common sense stuff. I look detail of a common sense versus things that some narrative somebody wants you to believe for whatever reason, whatever intentions they have, or whatever motives, or whatever. Okay, but you can see right here, you guys, the airbags didn't deploy on the passenger side, and that's the point I want to get to. So we're gonna leave that right there, and we go back to these pictures, and I'm gonna go back to some of your questions as well, you guys, because I know you probably have some of those. So much for even watching this with me. Okay. This time, I guess, you guys, I did not put the mute button on and leave it on mute. So that's a good part. So I'm really happy about that. Going back to the picture, you guys, I want to point out some more things lastly, and I'm going to go get off this live. Um, I want to back up. Law enforcement said something about water damage. I just talked to somebody on the chats just now and said, we're speaking about water damage. Now, I can tell you guys, if you look at everything, I know it looks dirty, and some people say, oh, is that water or that's dirt? This is dirt, you guys. And when I say it's dirt, this is the airbags. This is dirt. But you ever seen a wet book and the book was wet all up and stuff, and it'll be all the pages probably be stuck together. You can tell when the book been really wet or something out there. No indication of puddles of water here. I know this kind of look a different coloration. This is dirt, and these dirt come from all these baggies. I don't know if some of the baggage was moist because when I look at the vehicle, when Detective Biffin took me there and he opened up the back door, all I seen a bunch of these bags. I mean, a bunch of them, guys. There's a lot. And I was like, what is that? And in my mind, I'm like, what my son got in these Ziploc bags on the floorboard of the vehicle in the back behind the driver's seat when he opened up that back door. And I found out later through his company, those are samples. These are mud samples they get from the well. So of course, some of these, if you see the dirt right here, for instance, some of these bags burst open. So you got dirt all over the place, and you got dirt all here. Excuse me, guys. You got dirt all over the place, and that comes from the bag. So it don't come from water damage. Excuse me, guys. Buckeye said they have water damage. They say signs of water damage from all this rain that's supposed to happen for 30 days that fill up a hard hat with rainwater. Excuse me. And I don't see any rain damage. I don't know what you guys can see, but I don't see any rain damage. I'm looking for that. If this hard hat can fill water and the water stays there for 30 days, I'm sure this area right here would have filled up with rainwater and it would have been there for 30. It still would have been wet. I'm sure a lot of areas, this is flat, going flat down. This part of the vehicle's lying on the ground. If you look at the other pictures from other angles, if they saying water came through here to fill the water hat, the hard hat is right behind this headrest on the bottom of the seat area. You just can't see it on this picture. But I don't see any water damage. I don't see no puddles of water or water that's lingering right here in this area because it's lying on the ground. If you was to look from the other side of the vehicle, this right here, this airbag side with a glass that hadn't been broken out, that's touching the ground, um, uh, um, would have been water here. All this would have been still underwater with all that water that's collected in that so-called hard hat, right? Nothing. The only thing that collected water in this whole scene here is the hard hat, right? If you look at everything here, you would think water's still sitting here for 30 days and they wouldn't say it is. Why this ain't here wet if water stayed in moist, all the stuff would have been moist because the water was there. Nothing broke, no glass ain't broke, so water ain't escaping. Where is this water puddle, all this rainwater that is sitting there? You look at the money up here. You look at all the stuff. Dry, 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 dry. It's dirty now. Dry, dry, dry. I don't see no water rings or nothing. All thing you see right here is this water that somebody put in that hat. And so it could say, yeah, it's been here for 30 days because we found a hard hat with rainwater in it. That said it was there for 30 days, filling up with water. Now, the first thing they was concerned about was telling me the first day of this vehicle, on the 19th, July 20th, for guys, next day after the vehicle found out. That's one of the first things the Buckeye Police Department told me about. After all the BS they gave me about the monastery and monk and all that kind of stuff, they've been sure to point out. And they said, yeah, we've had a vehicle was there for 30 days. We just missed it because we found a hard hat with rainwater in it. It was filled up with rainwater. That's how you put it, though. And one thing, you guys, again, for those who hadn't seen the other live, Peters again, I did a rain test, business card test myself. Excuse me, guys, I'm choking a little bit here. And hold on a second, you guys, I apologize. Okay, guys, I'm back. I apologize. If anybody know in my life, sometimes I end up start choking a little bit, talk too much. So, but like I said, you guys, there's no indication of any rain, damaged water, this, that they claim. The only water in this vehicle is here, and I say, this is my take. Somebody poured in here to say it'd been there for 30 days and just tell me that. A couple of things was weird to me that happened. And I want to go back. Let me go back a little bit so I can explain this water thing. Like I said, I did this test about these cards, and I said to you guys before, I had to use a lot of cards, a lot of business cards. I'm a business card collector, and I hate to say that. I hope people think I threw their card interest. I even did one of my cards, and each card is different, you guys. But each card is different in a way that when you put them in water for several days, it wasn't even 30 days, guys. Even before 30 days. I'll say about 10 days, if that. And when you put water, you guys can try this at home too, but you need a lot of cards, different types, business cards, right? And the reason why I say that, guys, some have laminate on it, some have rubber type letterings to whatever, different kind of inks and this and that. One thing I learned that on a few of them, the words faded. You couldn't read it. But most of them held together really nicely, right? But they fell apart. When I say it fell together, I'm talking the words you actually read, they held together really good. But the paper itself separated. The front facing of the paper, because they put laminate on top, depends if you get it laminated or not. The ones that wasn't fell apart fast. They started turning into a mush like situation. But they all separated. This card has not separated, you guys, and they've been sitting there, according to Buckeye, for 30 days. Now, to give you a backdrop of what they was telling me about this hard, they was really fixated on saying, hey, this vehicle was here for 30 days based on the hat. And then people start asking them, saying, the Buckeye Police Department, well, if it was there for 30 days based on this hat, this water theory they came up with in a hard hat, how do y'all guys miss this vehicle, right? That was one thing they say, how you going to miss this vehicle? And they answer to that is that it was a lot of brush out there. I mean, it was a lot of it was so much brush out there that the vehicle was hidden under and they couldn't see it. So here it is, guys. I want to show you this real quick. This is a picture from the Buckeye Police Department from their so-called their drone. This came from their drone, but they never did any helicopter footage. It don't even exist because they haven't had any helicopters out there, according to the rancher. But this is from their own pictures. This is probably from a good 200. I don't know. I'm trying to think how high a drone can go up. This is far up because you can tell. You can see the two officers here, the drone operator, and I'm sure Detective Biffin, one of these guys. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna give you a little backdrop of this pictures too, you guys, so you guys can understand this too. The Buckeye Police Department said they had all these officers out there looking for Daniel as they was doing the stuff, right? This is what they're telling you guys in the public. So I want to make sure you guys are not being deceived about what the law enforcement said. But I can tell you guys from what if you do timestamps on the picture, you can actually see when the picture. This is coming from the Buckeye Police Department, so I do timestamp on the picture they actually sent me. And these pictures was taken. This pictures of this scene was done at on July the 19th of 2021 between the hours of 1 o'clock, 1:43. Let me back up. Sorry, you guys. Yeah, it was at 1:43 p.m. and 2:27 p.m. was the last picture taken. They only did it for an hour and a little over an hour, right? You guys. So you guys reading the report, they said they had all these officers out there looking for Daniel, right? This is what they're telling you guys in the report. You can look at their own pictures. I'm going to show you some of these and look at their own pictures that they gave me. How many officers you count out there? Man, there's a bunch of. I guess that's one right there. That's one over there. That's one there. That's one there. Look at all these vehicles over here. That's an awesome vehicle right there, right? I don't know. They said us out there looking for him hard. You got they're looking for Daniel, right? This is what they're telling you guys. No forensic mark on the scene. Only two little officers sitting there. We can go on. Let's go some more of their pictures, you guys. We can go as far as your eyes can see. But I'm saying it destroys even from a higher altitude. If you guys are looking at the picture and how altitude looking for a vehicle, you say you didn't see this vehicle because the brush is so high and it was lush and it was hiding the vehicle. You look at this picture, you guys, and you can see that vehicle. See, law enforcement just lie, man. They're a straight lie. And you can see this vehicle from their pictures, from their altitude. I'm saying, let's say it's a helicopter, and then Detective Biffin was going even more cynical. He was telling me how low the vehicles was flying, the helicopter was flying. He's literally told me this, you guys. This is firsthand, straight to me. He said, Ms. Rogers, he said, I said, y'all really looking for Daniel? That helicopter? He said, yeah, man. He said, the helicopter's flying so low, you could hold your hands up like this and touch the bottom of the helicopter. They was flying so, and the man was hanging out the window. He was holding his hand like this, you guys. He was hanging out the window looking for your son, looking for Daniel. Telling me stuff like that like I'm an idiot, like I'm a dummy or something, you guys. You know, it's not even he like I'm looking at a superhero movie or something. And that's the way they talk to me, you guys. Like I'm a dummy or something. I don't have common sense or anything. But the point is, according to the rancher, right, who was out here, he told me that he was right here coming out here to this with the law enforcement. They showed up, right? He called them. He waited out there for 2 hours for them to show up. He was a little pissed about that because he had some things he had to take care of out there in the desert. And he said these guys took 2 hours. He's a little pissed. He thought it would be urgent, but it wasn't. And the first thing they told him when they came on the scene, this firsthand thing, they also got this in the recording as well. He said law enforcement told him, do not tell the media that the vehicle showed up and don't tell the family. That's the two things he was told. He said he was going to tell us anyway because he said he have a family himself, and I'm not going to put the details of the family, but he have family himself, and he felt a certain way about that. He wanted to say something bad because they tell him for whatever reason, though Mr. Robbins out here in this desert with hundreds of volunteers every week looking for son, we was out there to rescue Daniel. Don't tell that family. Don't tell the media that this vehicle showed up. Right? Why? And then if you look at Maricopa County, sad to say, I can tell you in these pictures, I'm going to show you some vehicles. And I'm going to show you something, you guys, if I can find the right one. And these vehicles surely showed up because of the timeline of the timestamps of the picture, like I told you guys. They showed up within that hour time. And I'll give you the timestamp eventually. I'm putting that together too. When I put my whole timeline, when I told you guys before, long time, I'm so busy, guy. I want to put my own police or family report, like a police report, family report, and I'm using every evidence I got, what law enforcement did, recordings, etc. And excuse me. And what I'm saying is a timeline that law enforcement showed up. right? And when you look at it, you'll understand how many showed up, and it would be contradictory to everything they said in their report because it's all about timeline, and you can't lie about time stamps that's on what they gave me at that. So I want to show you something real quick, you guys. I think I need to put you guys back on the screen. Okay. Again, you guys can see there's no hindrance of seeing this vehicle. There's no way you're gonna miss a blue vehicle in a brown desert. If we was to keep going on these pictures, like I said, I want to show you some timestamps they have here. Well, I'm gonna show you the timestamp, not tonight, but I can tell you that these officers, whoever they were, the rest of them, kind of showed up after us. Like I said, when I give you the timestamp, you can see all this happened in an hour. That's it. This vehicle showed up. They put a little tent up. The one I'm still again is the guy doing the drone, and the other is like I said in this vehicle. He showed up. Detective Biffin, I'm sure that's probably him, is over there crowding down because the same thing with Daniel. You know, you heard about Caitlin and my son leaving a canopy over the house. He had canopies out in the desert. You need these things. Had a canopy to keep yourself out of the sun when you out there working. You sitting there resting, you drinking water, whatever you're doing. But then you guys could also see how does the ravine go down, and like I said, the water runs straight down. This is where the cattle they travel from wherever in the desert, and they make their way down through this ravine, and that's what the rancher was looking for. He know their patterns. Let's see if I can get further so you guys can see some of these uh, officers that showed up. There we go. Now in this pattern, I'm sure you guys can look really good. You can start seeing these officers that shows up. And then if I can show you guys, they start disappearing. They ain't been out there long. You don't see all the extravagant searches they see with helicopters and all kind of stuff they claim. Officers right there. I'm assuming that's an officer right there. I'm sure they must have came from this vehicle. I don't know if there's an officer there or not, but I know there's one here, and that's the vehicle. Excuse me. And if you go further out, you can see more officers, guys. You got one vehicle over there. I don't know how many officers in there, and that's it, right? So you got to see a little scattered officers, and it's all like they all was traveling down this path. One stopped here for whatever reason, one there, and they're making their way up this path to get here. Now the weird part of this guy, this all be on little land on the side. When you go over this little hill right here, you can't tell it, but this is a deep drop right in this area. I mean, it goes straight down. You got it's kind of scary straight down. And then it ends up in this area. Because I've been in this area many times. The volunteers and I, we go there. We go to this road to get back. You go this way to get back to the quarry area to get back to Sun Valley Parkway, right? So I started knowing these back trails. Have you? I started knowing them by heart over time. But like I said, if you was go over the whole entire picture for that whole entire hour, you won't see this so-called swelling of searching for Daniel, as they say. And this from their own pictures. But you can see the Hassapa River start to flow. During that time, it was flowing some water. You guys can see right here the water starting to flow. And I can't tell you how that water happens in Hassapa River. Usually, most time it don't happen. It don't come from rain that happens in this area. That come from the mountain areas that come from up north and start making its way from some other area in Arizona and start making its way down. And because we out there in that water sometimes, and every time I do one part of my safety for volunteers is always check the weather report, not for just Buckeye, but for all the cities up north, uh, Flagstaff, on whoever, every place I can where water would come from those areas and start heading down this river, right? Because it's dry. Just otherwise, that place is very dry. But I want to go real quick and show you some more video. See where the I think it was a picture where the corral where the if I can find it, you guys. They'll tell you where the cattle goes down to to meet. It's down in this area, you guys. I just want to make sure I'm looking at it right. I'm kind of losing my track here. Let's see if I can get it so you guys can see this. Make sure I get this right. Uh, I may have missed it, you guys. Let's see here. Make sure I get this right. My orientation here. It should be right there. Okay, some reason I'm having a little problem seeing this corral, but the corral is south of this crash scene, you guys, where the crime scene where the vehicle showed up. And that's where the cattle was going down to get to that corral when they come down through that ravine that the rancher was talking about. It's not too far from this crime scene. I'm trying to see if I locate it right here on this map, you guys. I'm on these pictures here. But I really want to show you guys. Oh, there we go. I think this area here. No, no, no. This is a power station, you guys. I can't tell you this while here. Real quick, while we're on this here. Power station. You're coming off Sun Valley Parkway. You go the story that was told to you guys. Daniel followed the guy into the desert. They went 1 mile west and 2 miles north to get to the crash to the well site. And from this guy's story, he said from that point, Daniel drove back down 2 miles to the T junction where that like I said, that 1 mile that one straight from Sunville Parkway, they drove 1 mile till they got to the T junction, and then they went north 2 miles. When he came back down T junction, he's saying that Daniel, instead of making a left turn, he made a right turn. Excuse me. And in that right turn, that would have took him further out into this desert, out this way, you guys. But when you listen to Ken's story, when he told me, and I told Buckeye that I had 2 witnesses as well with me, his story will lead you to a gate that's. I wish I had a little more pictures on it. I can show you guys next time when we talk about this on another things to consider. I will show you more. But there's a gate. If you go straight down this path here and goes a little further up, right up in this area here, there's a gate right there. And he said he went through this gate to go look for Daniel. He made it to T Junction. He went, his no track went out to west, so he followed it out that way. He came to a gate. He opened the gate up, and he said he drove another, I think, like a mile or so. And when he drive a mile or so, he's saying this is trail he would have came past. He would have came past this right here. This is the, like I said, a power grid area. It's a place where where a lot of the power is to surprise and all that kind of stuff, right? So he would have had to pass this structure here, this place, right? And I'm gonna put it real close so you guys can see that. I don't know who this is, but that's somebody right there. Also, you guys, you look really good. That's somebody with a ATV, UTV, and people out there all the time. So I can tell you that as well. People out there with their ATVs and they do things out there too. But yeah, he would have came down here this road. Oh, no, excuse me. He would have came down this road, and he would have had to pass this structure here because we checked all of this, and I also tried to find cameras and see that camera. This is the infrastructure, you guys. So I look for cameras and say, hey, if Daniel so-called came through here, then these would have picked it up. And I was surprised that the energy company gave me a very hard time. They never got back with me. They never said they had cameras. We looked for cameras and I couldn't find because we couldn't even locate. We was looking all through this place, trying not inside, of course, but on the exterior, trying to locate it with binoculars and all kind of stuff. Any cameras we could see. Didn't see anything. For the being infrastructure, somebody knocked that out, it'd knock out electricity for the whole entire city. But anyway, he would have had to come down here. But you could drive a mile if you follow Ken's story. I can't tell you guys, his story do take you out to that crime scene area. His story, the way he said it, would have took you out to the crime scene area. That's what I'm trying to get to. And so that always been puzzling to me. And that's something I'll be talking about later too. So I'm kind of jumping the gun with a lot of stuff, but that's the kind of stuff I'll be talking about you guys later when I'm doing a little bit more of, like I said, things to consider from what my point of view of my investigation is. And that's very thoughtful. So everything I have been doing, you guys, when it comes to my son being missing is very thoughtful. And I try to make sure even though of course I'm gonna be some biased, this is my son missing, but I have to, I just have to, so I have to make sure everything's okay. Now, it's something I just noticed here, you guys. I would say this is kind of weird to me while we're doing this. I want to make sure I'm looking at this correctly. You know, he said the Buckeye Police Department says that he could tell that Daniel was wearing a seatbelt because of the way the seatbelt locks, right? What's up with this seatbelt? Where the seatbelt come from? I'm just trying. I had to look at this really good. I'm gonna look over this picture. So I'm glad I got these pictures, guys, because I'm looking at something right now. I'm like, this is kind of daunting because I'm always every time I look at this picture, I'm always seeing the basketball that was in his vehicle. John Q was talking about the shoe that was in the picture. So it indicate that Daniel, if you know, he had an extra pair of shoes in the vehicle, right? If he had those shoes in the vehicle, he took the boots off. He didn't have these shoes. But anyway, that's a case of water. You guys got messed up, but that's a case of water. Two cases that was supposed to be in the vehicle, that was in that vehicle. But I'm saying I'm just looking at this right now, you guys, and this is the back seat, right? Who's wearing this seatbelt, and why is it locked that way, right? I'll start looking at this again, you guys. Let me see something here. And we can see that okay, this is a shoe. This clearly is the back seat, right? And this because this is where the box is, and it's blocking that sunroof from the back side. And if the seatbelt locks when somebody in an accident or whatever the case he's saying, what's up with this seatbelt pulled out like that? When that seatbelt be pushed in there if nobody was actually in that seat or using that seatbelt. So it's things like that that I'm saying from law enforcement when they want to have their narratives, and if you're not if you're the one finding information that they're not finding, I don't know if it's that or what the case may be. That's weird to me. I start looking at that. I'm gonna have to examine that a little more. I have some more pictures that the rancher gave me, so I'm gonna look into that, guys, and I'm gonna get that back with you on that. But that's something I see in the back seat. This is not the seat belt that locked, indicating somebody was in that seat, according to law enforcement. And now I'm looking at, as I'm talking to you guys, this seat belt in the back seat. Something else to look at, you guys, to say somebody in the video. We already have the information of the airbags when I have deployed in the front seat and side airbag. When I have deployed, if nobody was sitting on the passenger side, so we got that part. So again, you guys, thank you so much for sharing the time. It's been an hour 42 minutes. My daughter, I'm sure, getting tired. She's my assistant tonight, you guys, and I want to spend some time with her too. So I'm going to jump off here, you guys. I just want to go back over this again. Things to consider part 2. Again, I will come back hopefully next week with the part 3, and we'll be talking about another aspect of not just the vehicle, but it'll be some other aspects of my son's case. And I will determine that tonight, this weekend. I'll be going over what part that I want to share with you guys. And I think it will be more so going towards some of the things that was put in the report. And I want to kind of go through those and kind of match it up. And I'm really, again, guys, I want you guys to hear some of the initial phone calls. Y'all going to actually be able to hear some of the conversation I have with my son, my last conversations with him as well. I want to be able to share that with you. I did share that with a German news organization. Some of that you guys will be hearing about that pretty soon coming up this spring, and to have someone outside of the country to be able to share that part of the story and be able to let you guys hear some of the things that Daniel and I speak about, and also like I said, from my point of view, I will be sharing. Let me get off to put this back on full screen. But what I'll be sharing with you guys is some of the conversation I had with law enforcement that contradicts everything they were saying about the searching, the helicopter search that they say they have. But like I said, you guys, even speaking of the helicopter search, there's something that my family and I asked that the night that Daniel went missing. They, like I told you guys, they told me they couldn't do it. Being a military man, they're telling me they can't fly a helicopter at night, and I know that's BS because we fly them in Afghanistan. But and they lied to me and said they're gonna have one out there the next day, and they denied it and canceled it. But then they later told my auntie and Philly that they had a Firebird helicopter go out, which to date it's been over 2 years now, almost 3 years, and Phoenix Firebird Rescue don't have no record of it. Ain't nothing showing up yet. Every time I call them and say, "Oh, we're still looking for 2 or so years because it don't exist," right? And the further that don't exist is you're gonna hear the words, the straight words from an officer I talked to who looked in the computer. He said he don't even see a search from his own mouth. You can hear him clicking on the keys looking. He's not aware. And then he also, you guys, was taking information from me as if he don't even know who Daniel Robinson was. Right? He had to get his vehicle, get my information. To I'm just thinking why this guy taking the stuff almost 3 days later, and as if he said, "Oh yeah, we got." Well, he found Daniel's stuff eventually. He's like, "Oh yeah, I found his Jeep Renegade and license plate number, whatever the case may be." Oh yeah, they put him in the NCIC database type thing, and if you and then he explained to me, yeah, if he get pulled, or he's somewhere out there, he get pulled over. I mean, or he come into the view of the cameras of all. I don't care where he at and what state or whatever. It'll flag, and they say they'll go to him and say, "Oh, your family looking for you." That type. That was a stint of looking for Daniel, you guys. And so the stuff. What I'm saying is, Buckeye write a lot of stuff and they say a lot of things, but then they own. Uh, I keep receipts of everything. It contradicts everything they say. And also, you guys, I'll be going through some things with this whole notion of Daniel was at a gas station pumping gas, right? I'm telling you the reason why that's problematic for me, because I have went back over through Daniel's bank statements, and then when I realized a charge that we thought was a Shell station charge, that Buckeye put in a report based on, and this, and I say this again, you guys, is based on my daughter and I in the interrogation room. Nobody that I know in this case been put in interrogation room, but me and my daughter brought through a back door and put into an interrogation room. We sat there and they didn't. They said we are set. We got bank statement for the family. No, they did not. They looked at it through the phone. They sit on one side of this table and we sit on the other side, and they look as we're holding up in the air, looking at the we saying, "Hey, look," and we looked at it. I mean, we frantic already, coming up with stuff, and we're trying to find information. And we saw a charge, and we couldn't really pinpoint a charge, and say it's a Shell station charge for, because it don't make sense, you guys, for a couple cent dollars. I think like $2, $3, whatever it was, real cheap amount. It come to turn out that I don't went through his bank statement the other day and re-examined some of the stuff that we thought, and it don't show that. So I will be showing you guys that, and how law enforcement is rushed to their own decisions. Like I said again, if it don't match their narrative, they're not going to run with it. Only if it match their narratives. And so I'm going to share that with you guys and show you how they're quickly to do what they did, and without actually doing some work, as I have been doing for 2 years. And and because I had to go through this report, you guys, because they personally attacked me because I was speaking the truth about them. And I'm going to have to dismiss some of those things they put out there, and prove my character of a guy that I am, my son's character as well, and things like that. So thank you guys again. I really appreciate it. I think I'm going to end it here. Again, thank you everybody for joining in. David, I have set images of the Jeep location not too long ago after the day he went missing. That's why I asked about county GIS. Okay, I don't know what point you're making right there. I'm not sure. Maybe it's something you said earlier that I didn't get that, Ron. So thanks so much for being here, though. Let me see here. Oh, and Jamie, my condolences to you and your family. You say my daughter passed away 5 years ago. The pain is real and still present. However, not knowing where my child is, or not having closure, would absolutely drive me insane. Just the mental torture of, are they hungry, scared, cold? All those unanswered questions would kill me. And I know, like again, I said, like, I'm really sorry what happened to your daughter, and I understand that that's very painful. And you're right. It's one thing. You lost a daughter, and that's it's nothing I'm saying right now going to compare to that. And I'm not trying to, but what I'm saying is I lost a best friend almost 2 years ago now, best friend of mine for over 20 years. And one part has always been hard for me to readjust, right? It's always a readjustment when you lose a person, of course. The moments where I say, hey man, I need to tell him about this, and I think about it, and he's not here no more. But the thing is, uh, uh, I know he had, like you said, I know that pain of losing my best friend. but I know where he's at. I'd carried his casket and laid him on top of the thing they laid him down in the ground, so I know where he's at, right? And so what I'm saying to you, right, when it comes to your loved one that's missing, you have all kind of thoughts. You have mixed feelings. You have a lot of thoughts, especially with things like this. I see on the scene, the crime scene, I like to call it. And people say, "What you think all the time? What do you think about this?" It's a crime happened. I really believe that it's a crime happened based on everything I know. And but it's foul play. That's what I like to say. But you just don't know what that foul play actually means. Is he being held hostage somewhere, or whatever the case that may mean? Is he deceased now? So those things always in your head, and that do runs your nuts in some aspects. And I see families suffering with that all the time, and that's why I'm saying I have to do something. I had to do something. I'm trying to find my son. It's hard for me. I know how painful it is for other families as well. And that's why I'm trying to do something to make a difference in not just my family, for my family, but for other families as well, because it is painful not knowing, just the not knowing is the crazy part. You want to believe really hard that your loved one is still out there, still alive. And then other parts and other days, sometimes you wonder if they're not. Did they go through pain when something happened to them, like you said, and things like that? So all kind of things go across your head. When I saw the vehicle the first time, that's the first thing I saw when I saw that vehicle. I told Ted Bill I did to get out of here, heartless as he was, and told me he's gonna have a tow out there if I didn't get it out of there. Um, um, I couldn't take that. I couldn't take looking at that vehicle because the only thing I saw in the vehicle was my son being in some type of pain or something. And so of course, and that is hard. What you're saying is hard for a family. So again, thank you, Jamie, for um, you know. Thanks so much. I'm just trying to read some of the comments before I jump off. I believe there's a crime that happened, worst cover up. Thank you, David. Hoping every day we hear the FBI or a group opens this case and start actually investigating. Yeah, I have some, and I appreciate that. And I have some. I'm telling you guys, all I'm asking you guys to be looking out for ways to support you guys. I'm working really hard on something, and hopefully, everything works out with it. But I really, if you hear my voice right now, I really need your support. When I say I need your support, I need this grassroots that I was able to put together, right? And meaning that you guys have been people who have been sharing their stories the best way you can. You've been supporting all kind. I don't know how each and every one that's here tonight been supporting, but however you support, even just being here right now, giving words of courage, whatever, it's support to me, right? But I need that. I need every little last bit of that. I need you to share the Dane's story. I need to share what I'm trying to do and try to get other people to jump on board too, because it's not just for one person, it's for many other people, especially what I'm trying to do. So I want to share with you guys tonight, but it'll be coming pretty soon when I have the opportunity to do that. But I can share tonight with you guys. I definitely need your help to continue to fight for my son and to get law enforcement to do the things we're talking about tonight in terms of getting this forensics done and the reasons why and what I've seen and how I feel law enforcement failed my family, failed Daniel. As much as what they want to brag and pump their chest about what they think they did for this case, or we called this person, we looked at this place. I did that. I want to see some real answers. I don't want to see some mal-IQ app that's inaccurate to say, "Oh, that vehicle was there for this," and they pump their chest. Said, "I told you so. It was here for 30 days," and it wasn't there for 30 days. So the thing is, I want some real stuff done, right? In my son's case, Tiara, thanks so much. You should reach out to Crack House Chronics podcast. They have very high fan base and would help get the word out more. And I welcome them as well. You guys, I will be on the Mrs. Struggle. Will have me on. John Q will have me on as well, you guys. And I'd love to reach out if I find the Crack House Chronicles and see them as well. Thanks so much, Tierra. But I will be on those two platforms, you guys, pretty soon. And you guys look out for that as well. Aaron Chase, thank you again for moderating. Thank you for being here. Your detective work is outstanding. Such a good father. Blessings to you. I know I give all glory to God, you guys. And thank you, Aaron. But I give all glory to God because I'm a father who came out to Arizona. this out. I said I do this as a mess mentally, and I had to really get myself together mentally by utilizing my tools that I'm sure I know God had a hand into that, put me in a certain place in my life and with the military that was able to use the skills that I learned from that to continue on what I'm doing to this day. Because if not, I would have been no good. I just put it that way. Your baby son missing, and it's not good for any parent. Um, but like I said, thank you so much, Aaron, for saying that. But I just know anything that happened, God put me in the right place. He put me in the right time. He showed me the right things. At times, people don't understand that it's a systematic thing to me because I see God's work in His hand the way He do things. I'm not a professional, but sometimes things just happens in a certain way, and it takes longer than some people think I should. I have family be beating me in my back all the time. You should have answers right now. You should have this and that. I have a lot of answers I'm not sharing with people, but I have to because I have to see what people know, and I do have law enforcement that I feel is complete for being choice words. I just know I just don't trust certain law enforcement. I'll just put it that way, right? And I want to make sure they know what I know. I'll just put it that way, and and some of the things I do know, I don't know if they know I know. So if you guys can get that, Mr. Q, thanks so much again. The police seem to have repositioned the evidence to me, and they did. And you guys can see the box sitting on top of one picture, sitting on top of the vehicle, in one place is the other. And you guys see if they want to say, and I guess they want to use that thing. And for instance, they say, hey, we got water damage on the vehicle. They moved the hard hat that they put somebody put water into, and say, oh yeah, you know, uh, uh, you know, there's water damage or something. They waste the water. You can see on the pictures like certain things moved in certain places. You look at one picture and it's over here, and there's another picture there. It's sloppy work. I'm telling you, they treated just like Detective Biffin told me. They treated this crime scene as just take the pictures, you know, it's nothing to see here, type deal. I'm telling you guys, it's one of those things. So it was unimportant, and that hurts me, you guys. It hurts me really bad to even think about that. The reality of that, um, it hurts me to see no forensic marker when I know if there was a law enforcement vehicle, there'll be all kind of forensic experts out there exactly where this vehicle found, exactly where the FBI would have been out there because it's so close to BLM land or on BLM land. I mean, just everything about that is disgusting when it comes to law enforcement. Very disgusting and heartbreaking. Ron, lastly, guys, that's all I'm done. I'm getting out of here. My daughter's squirming. I need to go to. So, have you discussed the crisis crossing angels of the power towers as a person drives out there? There could be confusing to person that might have having maybe having cognitive issues. I think you're talking about are you talking about the power lines? If you're talking about the power lines, that's what I'm thinking you're talking because they do have a lot of power lines out there. I also feel the power lines is a source of it's always been a for me, and I get you saying a person who's disoriented, right? But either way you go with the power lines, you're gonna as long as you follow the power lines, you're good. It's gonna lead you somewhere where civilization is, right? And that's what helps. I can't say that's probably one of the lifelines out there in the desert. Other part is being a geologist, a scientist, if without confusion. Um, I'll see my son like I have done many times when I first learned in that desert. I know it like the back of my hand now, but um, I utilize the mountains ridges, and I look at them and I know which mountain is which. We had one we used to call Pride Rock where the mountain lion lives, and it looked like it's almost like that Pride Rock type deal. That's where they claim the mountain lion lives. And I also seen the um, uh, the White Tank Mountains, the way that look, and that was the main one because I know if I look at that from different angles, I always look at it all the time and I know what it's shaped like, right? So if something was to go wrong, I get twisted in the desert. I just look up and I'll see that ridge, and I know I need to head that direction. But the power line, like I said, was a safe fail in case all of that fall apart. So it always helped out to get to a location. So anyway, thank you so much, everybody. Again, I do have to go. Thank you so much. You want to say anything? I really want to go here, but I think no, you good? You can say something. My daughter, she's making a choice. You want to say something, you guys, or not? But thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time. It's been 2 hours. I didn't intend to do that. A lot of us don't get on Instagram because of the 2 hour thing. They don't allow you to be but an hour. Then they cut it off. They wouldn't let me. So you guys want to see the repeat of this, you have to go to Facebook or Twitter, YouTube. So thank you so much, you guys. Yourself have a blessed night. If you have any questions that I missed, I apologize again. I'll see you next time. God bless.